You ever see two groups just locked in a bitter fight and wonder, why can't they see the real problem? Well, today, we're going to dive into this incredible parable that might just have the answer. It all starts with a simple story about ants, but believe me, the implications for us are huge.
So just picture this, a big glass jar. Inside, you've got two groups of ants, red ones and black ones, and they're just doing their thing, coexisting. There's no natural beef between them, no reason for them to be fighting. They're all just sharing the same space. But then, some outside force, comes along and violently shakes their entire world. All of a sudden, that stability is gone. It's just pure chaos. For those ants inside, it must feel like the apocalypse. And in the middle of all that panic, something really interesting happens. They turn on each other. The red ants immediately think the black ants must be the cause of all this chaos. And the black ants, they think the exact same thing about the red ants. They blame the most obvious other, and the result is just complete self-destruction.
This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? The ants are so busy fighting each other, they don't even think to ask what started the chaos in the first place. They're just reacting to the symptom, not the actual cause.
And that, right there, is the whole point of the story. The real enemy was never the other ants. It's the one shaking the jar, that external force that created the perfect conditions for a conflict that didn't need to happen.
Okay, and this is where the parable really hits home. We do this too. We get so caught up fighting each other over our differences that we completely forget to ask, hey, who actually benefits from all this division? Who's shaking our jar?
So how do we get better at spotting the shaker in our own lives? Well, thankfully, thinkers like the psychologist Dr. Shungu Magadza have actually developed frameworks to help us see past the fighting and get some real clarity.
You know, the word in this quote that really jumps out at me is engineered. It suggests that these divisions aren't just random accidents. They can be built on purpose. And the scary part is how easily we can get pulled in and become part of the problem without even realizing it.
A lot of the time, the one shaking the jar isn't even a single person. It's a system. Systemic injustice. That's the term for these big, broad structures, policies, or even cultural norms that actually create and fuel division, usually because it benefits someone or maintains the status quo. It's the jar and the shaker all rolled into one.
Now, Dr. Magadza's full model has 6 stages, but we're going to zero in on the 3 key steps that really get the ball rolling. It starts at what she calls stage -1, which is basically our default state inside that shaken jar. Then comes the game changer, step 0, and finally, stage +1, where real change can start.
Okay, so stage -1. This is the ant stage. This is when we're stuck in the middle of the fight, pointing fingers, blaming the other side for everything. We're so consumed with the fight that we don't even see the glass walls of the jar around us, let alone the hand that's shaking it.
The real transformation happens at step 0, locate ourselves. This is all about taking a conscious pause. It's that moment you stop, you take a breath in the middle of all the noise, and you just ask, wait a second, what is really going on here? And what's my part in all this? That little bit of self-awareness is the key to getting out of the jar.
So once we've located ourselves, we can start the real work, dismantling the jar. This is all about shifting our energy away from fighting each other and toward understanding and changing the very conditions that are pitting us against one another. And that brings us to stage +1, which is noticing and naming. And this stage is all about asking much better questions. We have to stop asking, whose fault is this? And start asking things like, who actually benefits from us fighting? That one simple shift completely reframes the problem and points us toward the real source.
You know, this ability to see the system and to ask these deeper questions, it's a skill. It's something called equity literacy. It's like learning to read the situation correctly, to finally understand that the real fight isn't with the other ants, but with the structure that has all of us trapped.
This really lays it all out, doesn't it? You've got 2 paths. On one side, you have the default, fighting each other. That's all about focusing on differences and pointing fingers. But on the other side, you have the solution, dismantling the jar. And that means seeing the bigger picture and having the courage to question the system itself.
So, as we start to wrap this up, the parable kind of turns from a story about ants and society into a question for each one of us. It's time for a little final reflection.
Seriously, think about it. In your job, in your community, maybe even in your own family, where do you see this happening? Where are people fighting each other when they should really be questioning the system? What jar have you found yourself stuck in?
And maybe this is the most important question of all. Once we start to see the jar, once we figure out who's shaking it, our job isn't done. How can we help other people see it too? How can we create space for conversation instead of conflict and work together to hold that lid open?